Hi, and welcome to the second hour of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Spent some time talking in the first hour about cage fighter Steve Lonigan taking on Cory Booker. If you just caught the news, you heard Cory Booker saying, we're hoping to get a lot of Republicans because we think this Steve Lonigan guy is out there. He's a wacko fringer. So that's how they're going to try to paint him. Steve Lonigan could care less about that. He's going to articulate his vision for America, for New Jersey, and let the chips fall. That's a kind of moxie, I think, that a lot of conservatives are looking for in politics. And we played that soundbite of the Common Core instructor saying, hey, 3 times 4 can be 11 in our world. That's fine. You can explain to us how you got to that, and if we think that's a pretty good answer, then we're going to give you credit for that. 3 times 4 being 11, that's absolutely just fine under Obamacare math, under Obama math, under Common Core. Got a couple of calls responding to that. Let's go to Charlie in Shelby, Ohio. Charlie, Shelby, Ohio, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Brian.
Yes, sir.
I think these liberals may be so stupid that they actually would believe that old Abbott and Costello routine of 7/13 equals 28.
Okay, you're breaking up on me a little bit. Say that one more time.
I think these liberals are so stupid that they would actually believe that old Abbott and Costello routine of 7/13
Who's on first?
equals 28.
Yeah, they probably use that to teach grammar in the public schools. So, all right, okay. Listen, I appreciate the call. Thank you for that, Charlie. Let's go to Seth in Tyler, Texas. Seth, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hi, I was just calling. I just wanted to talk about the Common Core deal and just really 2 statements really quick. I'm a public school teacher
Yes,
and
sir.
coach in Texas, and I mean, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I mean, first of all, I think the breakdown in the youth, I mean, I see it every day. I think it starts with our public school system and some of the stuff that we're trying to teach, but then also I think it's a breakdown in the family as well. Because you do have Christian public school teachers or public school teachers that are Christians that are trying to seek to teach these kids the truth and to teach them the whole picture in spite of what's being pushed on them, but yet it's not also getting reinforced back at home. And I have a lot of kids that come from broken homes that live with mom or dad or aunt and uncle, and their parents' lives are just as broken as their lives are. And so, I think it's also not just the school, but also the broken home and seeking the. I mean, we gotta do something about both. But then also knowing this I was raised in the public school, and that there are Christian public school teachers that need to be informed, and that a lot of them aren't informed, and I don't think they even really truly realize what's being pushed.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
And being informed and realizing, hey, what's going on and what's being pushed, and if they really do realize, fighting back along with parents, So that's what I had to say about that.
All right, good, Seth. I appreciate that. And you know what Seth is talking about, look, you got problems that come out of the home that the education system cannot fix, and they cannot even undo the problems that are created in the home. Teachers can't be parents. They're educators. They can't be social workers. One of the trends that I saw even just in the last 15 years when I was in Boise, we're sort of out of the education thing now because of the age of our kids are adults and self-sustaining and all that. But I saw this kind of alarming trend for teachers to become social workers and for principals to become social workers. And they spent more time trying to remediate the problems of these broken homes than they did trying to educate these children. So the children were getting shortchanged because the teachers can't do the job of social workers. They can't do the job of parents. They've got one job to do, and that is to educate these kids. They need to be focused on that. They need to be single-minded on that, because that's the greatest service that they can do to a kid that's in a troubled background, is give them the tools to work out of the swamp that they're in. If they just wind up down there in the swamp with them, kind of circling the drain, and don't give the kids the education they need, then everybody stays down there in the swamp. So it kind of grieved me because, for one thing, these teachers couldn't do it. I mean, they were just overwhelmed with the sense of need. These principals were overwhelmed with the sense of need. I mean, education is kind of a helping profession. You go into that because you got a heart. You want to help people. You got a heart for kids. You want to educate them. Then you become overwhelmed with the social problems and the emotional problems and the family breakdown, and you can't help but feel like you got to move in there and try to do something about that, but you can't. You don't have the resources to do that. And meanwhile, your primary job, which could be the greatest help that these kids, that you're in a position to give, I mean, the one thing that you may be able to do for them, which nobody else in their world can do, is to get them educated, teach them how to read, teach them how to write, teach them how to do math, so they've got the skills they need to begin to pursue independence as they grow to maturity. And what Seth was saying is exactly right about the impact of the family. I'm looking at a post on the Heritage Foundation website about how parents contribute a lot more to school supplies than school supplies to their children's education. It's back to school time. Parents are out there buying back to school supplies for their kids and all that. But what the Heritage Foundation points out, even though parents are going to spend $55 billion maybe this year on back to school supplies, yet even more important to their children's prospects for success in school than financial investment is the investment of parents' time, attention, and presence. And they go through here and correlate how parental investment, parental involvement, parental engagement in the lives of their children has a remarkable impact on their academic proficiency. Preschoolers, for instance, whose parents are very involved with their schools, tend to score higher in all aspects of school readiness. Remember that Head Start's a dismal failure. We're spending billions and billions of dollars on Head Start. You get to the third grade and you can't tell the difference between the kids that were in Head Start and the kids that weren't. And what Heritage is saying, the difference that's made, the kids that are ready for school are not the ones that have been through some fancy pants preschool program, but the one where their parents were very involved in their preschool lives. Similarly, children whose parents read to them often exhibit greater cognitive development. So be somebody who reads to your kids. And we read to them all the time. We read books. It was part of the bedtime routine that we would read to them a book of their choice. We'd read something in Scripture. We would pray to them. That would happen every single night. So they learned to develop an appreciation for reading from their parents. Children whose parents are more involved are more likely to succeed academically. For example, among a sample of diverse low-income families, fathers' interaction with their 2-year-olds was correlated with the children's social and cognitive development. So fathers who are involved with their kids even at age 2, it has a contribution to the emotional well-being of that child, the social development of that child, and that child's cognitive development. Parental involvement is also linked to a greater likelihood that children will graduate from high school and pursue higher education. Adolescents whose parents talk with them about standards of sexual behavior and monitor their activities are less likely to become sexually active. Youths who report good relationships with their dads are less likely to use alcohol, tobacco, or marijuana to engage in delinquent behavior. Adolescents whose fathers are involved are less likely to exhibit aggressive behavior. Teens who frequently have dinner with their families are less likely to use drugs or alcohol, which in turn impacts their prospects for school success. So moms and dads especially, you want your kids to do well academically, be involved in their lives, be engaged. They need involved, caring, concerned dads as well as involved, concerned, and caring moms. We'll be right back. Focal Point AFR Talk. Stay with us.